Welcome to WP Transform. My name's Arista, and I'm going to walk you through how to install WordPress manually. Some web hosts will allow you to do a one-click install, which is great. It's super simple, and I recommend it if you have it. However, if you're working with a web host, maybe with a dedicated server, and there's not much management going on with your WordPress, you'll want to know how to install WordPress manually from start to finish, and I'm going to show you right now. The first step in installing WordPress manually is to go to wordpress.org and click on the Get WordPress button up at the top right, or you could just type in wordpress.org/download. Because they update WordPress so often for security reasons and new features, you'll want to go here every time you need to download the latest version, just to check and make sure you've got it. So click on Download WordPress 6.5.5 or whatever the latest version is when you're here. You will automatically get that zip file downloading up here at the top right. I'm in the Chrome browser. Otherwise, it will download to whatever your default download folder is. When that is all done downloading, we can move on to the next step. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And I will link to some other videos down below that will also be helpful to you in your WordPress journey. Step 2 in installing WordPress manually is to go to your server's file manager for the website that you want to create. So I'm here in my cPanel, and I'm going to go into my file manager, and the default location would be in the public_HTML folder. That is where you will want to install these files. So I'm going to upload right into that folder. I'm going to put the entire zip file that I downloaded of WordPress 6.5.5. And once that finishes uploading, we can go back and actually unzip it into the folder. So go back and reload this so that we can see WordPress 6.5.5.zip is right here. So I'm just going to right click on this, and I'm going to extract the files right into the public_HTML folder. And now we can see that they're in a folder called WordPress now. So we actually want the files to be in this folder, not inside WordPress. Otherwise, you would end up with your website /WordPress having your homepage. So we want to actually go into the WordPress folder. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, select all the files, and I'm going to move those files. And I'm going to move them into the public_HTML folder. Move files. Go back up one level. Now, since this WordPress folder is empty, we can delete it. And last but not least, you don't need that zip file anymore since you've already extracted it. So go ahead and right click on that zip file and you can delete that as well. Keep your server nice and clean and free of extra files. This is exactly where we want to be for step 3. Step 3 is to install a new database, which is going to be the driver of your WordPress website. So I'm back in my cPanel over here, and I want to go to the MySQL database wizard. You should have something similar in your cPanel as well, or maybe in your control panel of your hosting. The first step is to create a database. You can call it anything you want. So I'm just going to call it DB test since we're not going to keep this around. Now we need to create a user for the database. Typically, I'll do something similar, DB test user. for instance. You're going to want to write these down because you're going to need this information later. Now I'm going to use the password generator to create a nice password for my user. And I'm going to open up a notepad. I'm going to go here and just put the password in there, and I'm going to put the name of the user in here as well, just so that I don't forget it later, because things go in and out of this brain pretty quickly sometimes. So there's the user and the password, and the database name was dbtest. All right, so we've got that information safe and sound. I'm going to create my user, and then I'm going to give that user all the privileges. So easy peasy. And we're done. That's all there is to it. So we're going to move on to step 4, where we'll actually install everything. We have our database created. We've installed WordPress. You can see that our database is all set up here. We've got our user in here. So now we just need to install WordPress officially, run the installation. So to do that, you're going to go to your domain name /wp-admin. There's probably other ways to get there. But if we do that, we will get to the configuration page. We're going to go ahead and leave this as English because that's what we speak at the moment. It's going to give you a heads up that you're going to need your database name, username, password, database host, table prefix if we're running more than one WordPress, which you rarely will ever do that. And let's go. All right, so the database name, which we have written down, but I think it's in our head here, is dbtest, bitmorehappy_dbtest, username, similar but a little different, and the password. We are going to need to grab that from our notepad. Copy and paste that in there. Database host is localhost unless you did something special when you set up your database, but it should be localhost for most server configurations. And I'm going to leave the table prefix as WP_ and submit that. Now it's going to ask me if I want to run the installation, and you do. Here's the information that it needs. It needs to know your site title. So this is, usually it's your business name or whatever your site is named. Now this will be the login for your WordPress. So make sure to write this down as well. And you do not want the username to be admin. Admin is the most easily hackable username. So we're going to do something fun and funky and nobody will find it. So just random letters and numbers. And I'm just going to put, this is my WP login. That's my username. And my password has already been generated by my browser's password generator, which is great. Nice and complicated, strong password. And I'm going to put in my email here. You can know this email because you can email me if you'd like. Now, the search engine visibility, this is something where if you want search engines to not find your website for a while, let's say you're putting off launching it because you anticipate that it'll take 3 months to get all the content in there and you don't want people to find it before you're done, right? You can click discourage search engines from indexing this site. I'm going to suggest that you don't do this just because we don't want to discourage the search engines. You can use a coming soon page instead. This will allow the search engines to find your website and to let them know that it's coming soon rather than telling them not to index the site. So leave that unchecked. Install WordPress. Success! All right, I'm going to save that password to my browser. There's probably people that are security professionals that are wishing I wouldn't do that, but it's easy for me and I prefer to do it. So log in if you'd like, and you can begin getting to work on your WordPress site. Congrats on a great manual installation, and I'll see you in the next video.